You look away and boom, something starts to happen. Don't look away this time around. Manchester United are still not done in the transfer market, especially this transfer window. Reports now say that Benjamin Šeško could still end up as a Manchester United player. Yes, a Manchester United player. Despite, turning us down last year, internal talks are on the way for a possible hijack, of Newcastle's move for this Slovenian striker and goal machine. I mean, what's really going on behind the scenes? I mean, we have to ask these questions. What's Rúben Amorim thinking? I mean, why should fans, stay calm? And this is what I've been preaching for the past, a couple of months, ever since Rúben Amorim even took over as well. So stick with me for the truth behind the headlines. I mean, this is United Talks podcast, and I'm just going to break it down right now, as we've always done over the past since we started. Now, I want to thank you also especially for subscribing, for liking and for sharing our videos and for, reaching out and for commenting on our content and all of that. I don't take it for granted. We're building a community here and we're growing together as a community and as a family online here. So thank you so much for liking, sharing and subscribing. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss any of the updates that we bring to you. Now, let's start with Fabrizio Romano's latest bombshell. According to the most trusted man in transfer market, bar David Ornstein and all of that, the next top target is going to be the striker. And United want a new striker this summer. Internal meetings are already taking place. Amorim and the staff are all in agreement that a striker is a must, even though I also believe that a midfielder is also top priority as well, because we need a midfielder and a striker. One midfielder that is like Manuel Ugarte, that's a warrior, that's a fighter, that is a disruptor, that can pair with Kobe Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes if they play in that mid, or even Casemiro as well. That also is a progressor of the ball, very dynamic and young as well. And then we need the striker at the same time. So if we can get those two, I mean, that would be a steal for the market and we'll be home and dry. Let's not worry about the goalkeeper. It's not top priority, because if we sort the defense, sort the midfield and sort the striker out, the goalkeeping might not be a big of an issue. Now, this confirms that what all we've been suspecting, because obviously we have been talking about it, we've been suspecting it. Top content creators have said that unless it's Fabrizio Romano reporting or David Ornstein or Ben Jacobs reporting, we cannot basically believe anything that we see. There, Florian Plattenberg also put some stuff out there too as well. We can also, I mean, according to some big content creators, he has missed sometimes, but we have to just kind of, take this one as it is, because obviously it's now more like a two-horse race between Manchester United and Newcastle, because Newcastle are about to lose their main striker in Alexander Isak, and then obviously they have an interest in Nicholas Jackson and Johan Wissa. So either of those ones, any of the ones can stick, but it is what it is. Now, like I said, it confirms what we've all been suspecting. I brought it to you in the news earlier, like 2 weeks ago or so, when I said that Benjamin Šeško is a target for Manchester United, and there has been talks, especially with him and Gyökeres in line for the potential, striker position. Now, the issue is the budget, because as a number 9 is the next big priority after the likes of Brian Bumo and Mateusz Cunha. The issue is the budget, and outgoings are also key, but the intention is clear. Rúben Amorim wants a striker who can complement Rasmus Højlund and not just shadow him, and who can actually compete with him too as well, because if we have Rasmus, we have Joshua Zirkzee who can potentially play there, and we have Chido Obi. Even if we have Rasmus, Chido Obi and Sesko, that would be a good striker competition kind of thing, even though Rasmus is older than Sesko. And then we can have Joshua Zirkzee play as one of the 10s, or an option for one of the 10s, because he's also dynamic like that, or play as a false 9 as well if needed, as a 9.5 that he is. So the question will now be, what does this mean? I mean, the club is in a crucial phase and every pound counts. And selling to buy is also the strategy. It's not flashy, it's not flashy as everybody expects, but it's part of a more possible rebuild. I said to you a few days ago that Man United cannot sign Alexander Isak, and that's because of his salary. But this guy is 21, and there is room to negotiate for him here, right? And Christopher Vell actually knows him. That's what I said in one of the videos I released. He knows him, so there's a chance that we can, and he has worked for Red Bull Football Group before, so there's a chance that he can actually, you know, help make this deal become successful. Now let's get into the big twist here, because Benjamin Šeško is actually the potential shock revival for Manchester United. So let's get into the big twist in the situation. You know, Sesko, yeah, the name, you know, that rejected Man United over a year ago in favor of Leipzig. Now, according to reports from Sports Illustrated and probably even the big hitters, United have not completely closed the door or closed the book on him. Now, here's what we know, basically. Newcastle United wants Sesko. That's number one. He's a possible replacement for Alexander Isak, as I just said, who is pushing to join Liverpool. And Liverpool has just sold Diaz, right? Luis Diaz, to Bayern Munich for 73 million euros. So that's some money they can get to add to whatever they have to buy Alexander Isak, which would leave room for Newcastle to want to sign a potential striker. And they have 3 on their books. We have a couple on our books. At least the Nicolas Jackson one has died down a little bit. But Newcastle are interested and Man United are competing. But United are quietly monitoring the situation. You know, Sesko was also a target for Arsenal earlier, and they couldn't come to an agreement and all that. But internal. So the third point will be that internal discussions are taking place again, and Fabrizio Romano says that we are still in the mix. Now, what is the catch? The price tag. Excuse me. It will cost around 70 million euros, which is around 60-something million pounds, and that's where things get a little bit tricky, right? But that's not a guaranteed move. I mean, it shows that United are still, you know, keeping an eye on elite striker profiles. And Man United know that Sesko fits the Amorim mold: young, mobile, press resistant, and with upside, more like great potential, high ceiling to grow. And then there's also the real question. Question will be, would Sesko accept the move now? Because he turned us down a year ago, saying it was important to go somewhere with a similar football style, and I don't want to start from scratch. So obviously with Rúben Amorim now, there is something to build off of, right? Now with Rúben Amorim, a pressing system, the style that fits better, the manager that fits better, and the project under INEOS is actually clearer, right? So what do we all think about this whole Sesko thing? Everybody's saying we should get Sesko. I know the financial situation with regards to Man United getting Sesko is dire. There's also news that Man United wants to sell Anthony to Al Nassr for around 60 million pounds. If that 60 million pounds comes in, then there's a chance that we can actually get some money or strike a deal, at least for an upfront payment, to sign Sesko, right? Now, this brings me to why patience is key for Manchester United fans. Patience is absolutely key for Manchester United fans, and here's why. This brings me to basically talk about a larger point. We need patience. And I get it. Basically, the window has been frustrating. You know, Chelsea are moving, Arsenal are moving, Man City have moved. Even Newcastle are lurking. Chelsea have wrapped up 2 strikers, even though they had one already, and a couple of ones that they want to let go now. Arsenal have wrapped up 1 striker, and that was a potential target for Man United, who played under Rúben Amorim, right? Man City already have a striker on lock. So if you're looking at all the rivals, Liverpool, they have a striker. They've locked down another one. They want to get a third one in Alexander Isak. So if you look at it, everybody's moving. So Manchester United needs to move, right? But the window is actually frustrating. But United are operating in a very different mode right now. Amorim has just finished a disastrous season. He's literally started his first season with a preseason on this job, and the board has changed with INEOS fully in charge, you know, of sporting decisions, as we all know. And even even now with every move, it is very strategic, and every signing is built around fit, structure, character, potentially best in class, and the next best thing, right? Now, we're not in an era of panic buying anymore. No more the Alexis Sanchez's of this world, the Di Marias of this world, even the Wout Weghorst or the Odion Igalo of this world, right? The rebuild is slow. The rebuild is real, and it will take some time. But also a word on the media. We have to stop believing every rumor that pops up on social media and even in the mainstream media. If it's not coming from the likes of Fabrizio Romano, David Ornstein, Laurie Whitwell, Ben Jacobs, and the top guns, then we also take it with a grain of salt. Now, don't let Twitter merchants feed your frustration. The process is in motion, so let's believe in the process, right? And if it's not flashy every day, let's just take it as it is and build with what we have, as well as we all look towards the potential. Now, there are other striker names on the radar for Manchester United that we need to look at, with Sesko being an exciting opportunity, an exciting possibility. He's not the only one on the radar. You know, we've all heard about the Nicholas Jackson one from Chelsea, admired for his mobility and his build-up play, but the thing is, he misses a lot of chances, but it's something we need to also think about. Then we also have the Oli Watkins, news from Aston Villa. You know, he's excellent in behind. You know, he's Premier League proven, which is actually the mold of players that Man United are going for. Seeing as we've signed, case in point, two players two players this season who are Premier League proven, Brian Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha from both Brentford and Wolves, respectively. So Premier League proven, you know, good age of 29, going to be 30 somewhere towards the end of the year. So yes, but a lot of fans, I've seen a lot of fans even in comment sections saying that basically the deal, the Sesko deal is not, saying that the Sesko deal is not worth going into. Others are saying, oh, we shouldn't even go for Oli Watkins because Oli Watkins is up to 30 and he's going to be 30 and it's like he's already kind of fading out. I know he had the last 7 or 8 seasons, he's had good numbers, right? Over 10 goals per season. Then if you add assists, he goes to over 15 goals and assists every season for the last 7 to 8 seasons, right? But it's clear that United are exploring multiple profiles. Another profile of a player that I think Man United can try and go for is Dusan Vlahovic. But obviously it was reported a couple of days ago and last week as well that he's been offered to United. But there are doubts around his style, you know, fitting our style of play, right, and our system. So, like I said, there are multiple profiles of strikers that Man United are going for, but there won't be. Man United won't be rushed, even though we need the player now because there's only 2 games, or actually only 3 games left in preseason before we head out to the Premier League game on the, I think, 16th or 17th of August. And obviously, Man United will not also be pushed into overpaying. Now, to wrap it up, Benjamin Šeško to Manchester United is not dead. It's at an internal discussion stage, but there's also rumors that we have presented our project to him. If we're going to read some of the news, this is basically from Fabrizio Romano on X. He says, key week for Benjamin Šeško's future as Manchester United also approached his camp to ask for deal conditions. Newcastle presented their project to Sesko last week, ready to bid if player accepts. Sesko is expected to decide his future soon. Then, if we're to go with what Florian Plettenberg said, which I said, you know, don't take everything with a pinch of salt. Take everything with a pinch of salt, but don't take everything you see on the media. Manchester United and Newcastle are currently in talks with Benjamin Šeško's management. Both teams have presented their projects and financial offers. Now, the discussions now lies mainly with the player and his camp. Offers are expected to be formally submitted to RB Leipzig following verbal agreement. However, Newcastle are pushing a lot. Now, it is also reported that Newcastle had tabled a £60 million bid. Then Ben Jacobs also said that Newcastle have told Leipzig they are prepared to pay over 60 million pounds for Benjamin Šeško. No bid yet, as Newcastle wait. This is in the last 4 hours, as Newcastle wait to see whether Sesko agrees terms. Manchester United also have Sesko on their radar. Johan Wissa still a target, and Nicholas Jackson also discussed by Newcastle. So these are the things that, you know, we can talk about in this thing, right? Other Arsenal fan channels, because I obviously Sesko was linked with Arsenal, says that, do you think that Arsenal made the right decision signing Vitor Gyökeres over Benjamin Šeško this summer? I mean, that's all for us to see, right, and behold in this new season. But with regards to the Sesko deal overall, a lot depends on outgoings. So let's keep our eyes on the names like, you know, Jadon Sancho, like Anthony, like Garnacho. I mean, these 4 exile players, barring Marcus Rashford, who has secured a loan move to Barcelona. We have Tyrell Malacia, we have Jadon Sancho, Alejandro Garnacho, and Anthony. Right now, Rúben Amorim and INEOS are not playing the long game. Right, Rúben Amorim and INEOS are actually playing the long game, and it's not about winning the window. It's about building a sustainable football machine. I mean, getting Cunha 25 or 26, Brian Bumo 25, and then if you get someone like Sesko, him and what's his name, Rasmus Højlund will compete, and then Chido has the chance to watch, you know, and learn, because Chido has that build of Benjamin Šeško, but not the tenacity, the pace, and all of that. But he will learn, he will grow, he has time. He's done it in the youth ranks. He's already he's now a mainstay in the first team, at least to learn off of a lot of these strikers. So if there's someone he can admire to, how both Rasmus and Sesko compete against each other, he can apply himself better. So we're rebuilding a sustainable football machine, and it takes time. But my advice to Manchester United fans, basically, as I've always said, is to, you know, trust the plan and stay calm and filter the noise. Read what is only reliable. You can feed your eyes with all the other things, but read what is only reliable. And if you want basically some full deep dives on how Man United are structuring the transfer window, like even if we're going to go into the reliable sources and all of that, you want those types of things, do not forget to check out our latest videos that we release every day on the channel. And I explain some strategies, and if Sesko's deal something materializes and it becomes a potential here we go, or even a here we go at the latest, I will start doing my deep research on basically his targets, his profile, and how he fits the system. So I would explain, you know, strategies, I'll explain targets, I'll explain potentially who's next under Rúben Amorim, but we're keeping our eyes peeled, right? So basically, thank you so much for liking, thanks so much for watching, thank you so much for subscribing. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as it relates to Manchester United. As the news comes up, we'll give it to you. So I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.